Okay, so now we're going to start our next topic, which is how do we engage, how do we become in contact with people who are not followers of Christ? And the key to this disciple-making movement is we're not trying to convert individuals. We're trying to convert groups of people. If you look at the email I sent you, it says people form smaller social groups within the context of a large community. And so the traditional way of reaching people is to reach individuals and then to bring them into the church. But the thing is, in cultures where Christianity is not normal, as a person becomes a part of a church, it becomes difficult for them to witness to their old social group. They're now seen as an outcast, as someone who is no longer part of that original group. So they lose their ability to witness to the group. And when this happens, who is the pressure on then to make more disciples? Well, it's not the new person because they lost their old community. It's then on the original person that made that first disciple. It's on us. And if we're to start a disciple making movement, the pressure cannot be on us because we're only one person. So the key is, I don't know if you can zoom in on what I sent you there. There we go. So we can talk about what the difference is. So the old way focuses on reaching one person at a time, but the new way focuses on reaching one family or community group at a time. Old way, reaching one person is a success. The new way, reaching a family or group of people is a success. The old way, it removes new believers from their existing community to become part of a new Christian community. But the new way encourages discipleship with and within existing families and groups. The old way is to transfer Christian culture to the new believer. But the new way, it redeems local culture. It keeps the original culture, but sanctifies it, removes the sin from it. The old way is viewed by the new disciple, is viewed by outsiders as destructive to the community. But the new way is viewed by outsiders as something new, but not destructive. The old way, it results in increased levels of persecution, but the new way results in normal levels of persecution. The old way, it's painful for the new believer and his or her family because they have to leave their community to join the church. But the new way is a joyful process because the family, the group, discovers Christ together. And so with this new way of how we want to reach people, we don't focus on individuals, we focus on groups of people. That they can stay in their old community, because that is our focus, to transform the original community. But how do we get into that community? How do we reach the family or that group? Well, individuals are the doorways to the rest of the group. And so once we find that one individual who will let us in, our focus becomes on inviting and leading that family or that group to discover God as they read His Word. And as they read His Word together, guess what happens? Disciple making, obedience, accountability, ministry, and leadership development. And so we shouldn't think that success is not having a large group of people listening to one person teach. Success is defined by the number of leaders we train in different groups, and then the number of leaders those people train, and then the number of groups that come to Christ and are baptized. Okay, so I really want to clarify that concept. Our success is not having a large group of people come to listen to one person talk. Our success is by developing leaders in these small groups who then train other leaders to form their own groups. And then these groups come to Christ and are baptized. So that's really, our focus is not on reaching a mass group of people through our voice. Our focus is on developing leaders in all these different groups so they can develop as leaders and then develop other leaders as well. And over a period, the book says, over a period of 2 to 5 years, it's like fire. It spreads quickly. But the thing is, you can't really just come up to random people and expect them to listen to you. And so we earn the right to share the gospel based on how we serve. Okay? And serving others starts with meeting the needs of the individual and the group. So, if they are having trouble finding food or paying for food, that is their immediate need, and that is what we will meet. We will provide them food and earn their respect, and when we earn their respect, they'll listen to us share the gospel. And the thing is, we can't just give them food and think our task is done. Our service to them isn't completed until those who have been served have heard the gospel in such a way as to respond yes or no to following Jesus. And the thing is, that might take a period of time. We might have to provide food to them 2 or 3 times before we can get to that gospel conversation. First we just want to earn their respect and their friendship. And perhaps we continue to serve them, we get to know them better, they get to know us. And then our conversations develop into spiritual conversations, and then we can tell them about Jesus and ask them if they would like to know Jesus as well. And this is also important. We don't enter a community, we don't enter a group announcing that we are evangelists or missionaries. The best way to enter a community is to know someone in that community who has high ranking, who has a lot of respect, and they can introduce us to that family or to that community. But if we don't know that one person who has high respect, we can do something about that. We can start working in the community. We can bring soccer balls to the community and give it to the kids. We can do a service project for the community. We can enter the community in a number of ways. But the thing is, we want to enter the community not as missionaries, announcing we're missionaries, but as people who just want to serve them, who want to help them. The goal is to be trusted in the community so that we can have these normal conversations that then go deeper into spiritual conversations that then turn into gospel conversations. So, if there's a village that we want to reach with the gospel, the first thing we do is we'd bring some soccer balls and bring some foods, and we just go into the community and hand it out. And maybe we do that over a period of 2 or 3 weeks. And then we'd get to know them and earn their respect. And develop conversations with people. And then hopefully we'd find someone who this book calls the person of peace. Okay? And that's going to be our next topic. How do we find this person of peace that is ready to accept the gospel, that's ready to help us reach that group or community with the gospel? And that's what we're going to talk about next.